So it seems to just be some interesting and weird energy this week. Some stuff was coming, like when I tune into these things, I feel them. I get the guidance on this, and it's just, they were interesting. Anyways, just watch the video to find out. Just a reminder that this is meant to be a mundane reading and not at all a personal or sun sign or all signs kind of a forecast, so please keep that in mind when watching this video. With that being said, let's start off the week here, jump into the charts. We're going to obviously start the week off on Sunday here, July 19th. Just a couple things I have on my list for today. We're going to have this Mars in sextile to Saturn. This feels like, I almost want to say like a call to action, but it almost feels like it's a verbal call to action, as if like I get a sense of either like a political figure or somebody in at very high level in charge of something saying like okay, and I'm being reminded to say this now, this is mundane astrology, so when I say a political figure, I literally mean like political figures doing these things. Okay, this isn't specifically an analogy. Mundane astrology is about like the geopolitical effects on our planet, economic effects, the things that affect us all from that type of a level. Okay, I don't do just a general readings for like those that are watching kind of a thing, because nobody really listens to what they need to hear. They only listen to what they want to hear. So I do this as a general reading, plus what I do when this stuff comes through is it's more able to be shown like through news stories or whatever what previous forecasts had shown when that week comes about, and I put that on my legitimacy and corroboration page on my website as well. So there's a twofold answer there. I could also combine that with technically like just a general for whoever's watching kind of a reading, but that just know that what I get a sense of is those readings tend, and no offense to anyone, but those readings tend to land on deaf ears, simply because people only listen to what they want to hear and not what they need to hear. Okay, when I do readings and stuff, and when I do this work, I say what is going through, and I'm direct as I connect to my higher self to do this. And my guides are here often providing guidance through my higher self. My higher self kind of vets everything. If you've ever worked with your guides, you know that they are very direct and straightforward. It's not in a mean way. It's just like, no, this is just what it is. We can't show you any other way other than just what it actually is. Okay, if you're going to ask us, we're going to tell you and we're going to show it for you for what it is, but you've got to be ready for that. And there's some things that they simply won't say, either A, because people aren't ready to hear it, and I kind of just burped there, and so when that usually happens, that's for them saying, like, pay attention to this, that's a valid point. Some things aren't said because people aren't ready to hear them, and then there's, or they may not say things fully because people aren't ready to hear them, or because they want us to actually have the experience and not just be blatantly told everything, because then if you're told everything, why are you incarnate, right? So that's why they're saying, okay, get back to the reading now. I've talked about this before. They're like, you've said enough, go back. So Mars, it feels like higher level political figures saying that they're going to take action on something and then literally doing it. And this feels like maybe some kind of defense, or there's this Saturn energy is like there's a focus here. This is really hard to, there's something specific about the action, saying you're going to take action on something, and then that Saturn energy is almost like grounding it in, but it's like this aspect of boundaries towards like sovereignty, protection, etc. Like you're like, no, you're not going to mess with any of this. I'm protecting myself kind of an energy. Okay, it may not be exactly that, but that's how I'm getting this message, so that's analogous to something, to how it would be. Okay, it's like almost like a restriction in a way, or boundaries. It feels like boundaries in place in a protection of some aspect of sovereignty, individuality, something like that, and saying you're going to take action on something. It's almost like a no, you can't fuck with me kind of a thing, and taking action towards protecting oneself, or in this case, one's country, or whatever, in whatever way in that sense. That's what I get with that energy. Okay, we're also going to have Venus here. Excuse me, Venus in biquintile to Juno. This feels like an aspect of like new partnerships, relationships that are oddly maybe what we wouldn't have thought would be working together. This feels like this comes from, was it last week's video or the week before or something, where there is like relationships that it's like, oh shit, we shouldn't have done you wrong, and now like here we are, kind of a thing. So it feels like that. But this feels like almost like negotiations or talks behind the scenes between parties surrounding this. And of course, with Venus and Virgo, this is about these groups of government, of the people that work for governments, etc. But in all of the governments, there's groups that where Juno is relating to the partnership itself. Venus and Virgo is relating to these these groups of people that work for these selected governments that are doing the practical things, okay, taking the action on these things. And this feels like it's like I said, negotiations, talks, etc. It doesn't seem bad. It just seems like that's just, how things are done. When you have these partnerships and you're having meetings and things like that, that's what that seems like to me. And it's something that it feels like something that people that you never thought would be working together in some way. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Okay, but that's what I get with that. Let's just move on to Monday. Monday, we're going to have Jupiter here in Leo in trine to Neptune in Aries. And at the same time, Jupiter is also going to be at, roughly the same time, but on the same day, Jupiter will be in opposition to Pluto retrograde. Okay. I think both of these are... let's do trine to Neptune first, and then just kind of see where this goes. I get a sense they're kind of connected, but let's see. Something's coming to the forefront. Okay, shit can't be hidden anymore. Like, okay, I see why Pluto's here and why they're saying this is related. Shit can't be hidden anymore. Like things can, like stuff that's going on. Like there's no way you can keep stuff hidden now. This Leo energy, especially with Jupiter here, is bringing things into the spotlight, front and center stage. I said with Jupiter coming into Leo when this initially happened that things on a global stage, etc., everything's going to become a lot more visible. Like those who are trying to do nefarious things or lie or whatever, they're not going to be able to do it anymore. They're literally in the spotlight. So what things, lies or whatever that they do, it's going to be clearly seen that is exactly what they're doing. Okay, there's still going to be people that won't want to believe it, that will be ignoring that and like burying their heads in the sand kind of a thing. But regardless of that, even they're aware that this stuff is now showing up in the spotlight, right? They're just choosing to ignore it. But this stuff can't be hidden. It's like we're at a different, almost like vibrational level or something like that. That this stuff can't be hidden any longer. Like there's no way that you can, like, if you try to do bad things, you're just gonna get caught. Okay. Yeah, that's just what this seems like to me. And with this Neptune retrograde, it seems like, okay, these are like previous old things that are like, they can't be hidden anymore. It's like being re-revealed, and they're in the spotlight, and it's like, okay, you can't hide from the deeds that you've done or whatever. They're here. And it feels like with this Aries, it's like really taking action to almost like show this stuff. But Neptune and Aries, there's like this supportive, like almost like push forward progress kind of a thing in really supporting and showing these hidden things now, especially with Neptune retrograde, that deals with these past things that were hidden, right? And it's kind of like blowing things up into the spotlight kind of a thing, right? And with this opposition to Pluto retrograde, Pluto is also bringing up these old things as in retrograde, but this could be somewhat shocking as Pluto's in Aquarius. There's an awakening moment here. We're really digging deep. Okay, Pluto rules Scorpio. We're digging deep into these things. And it's like facing what you got to face as well. You're seeing it for what it is, okay? I've said this before. A lot of people don't like Scorpio because Scorpio brings up the skeletons in the closet, okay? It brings up the things that they don't want to face, okay? It's a lot of people will think, okay, I'm not going to get into this whole thing of disliking a sign or its energy because, okay, I'm going to say a little bit. Basing a person solely off their sun sign is just lunacy, because you need to look at the entire chart. Just looking at your sun sign is lunacy, okay? I'm going to repeat that again. It is lunacy to just focus. Do you think every Cancer all acts the same? If you have sun in Cancer, every Scorpio all acts the same if you have sun? No, they don't. It's the creative use of this energy. You can go to my website, mysticalmark.ca, under What is Astrology. It describes more what my guidance is on astrology, how it is, there's more to this. I'm not going to, because I could sit here and talk for an hour about it. Okay, but you want more information, it's available out there. Just go to my website, watch some of my other videos, etc. Okay, but yeah. So Scorpio energy itself is very transformational. It's very revealing. You have to face the problem directly, get to the root of it in order to ultimately transform, heal it, move on. That's the energy, that intense energy of Scorpio. Okay, and Pluto there is providing that. So with Jupiter in opposition to it, Jupiter expands what it touches, so that's blowing this up. And so there's kind of these things that maybe we thought were something, but really they were something else. It's kind of like the truth comes out in a way, but we're kind of seeing it, which not necessarily it comes out. I think a lot of people have already known. It's just we're seeing it for what it is. And it's being made so blatant and aware that you can't really ignore the fact that that's what it is, right? So they're saying, okay, stop talking about this. I've said what I need to say. Let's move on. So Tuesday here, the 21st, we're going to have this quarter moon. So Sun at 28 degrees of Cancer, Moon at 28 degrees of Libra. Whatever was regarding that Sun-Pluto opposition Jupiter-Pluto opposition and that trine to Neptune, there's something here with this quarter moon that seeks balance and justice, almost like from that energy in a way, interestingly enough. Keep in mind the Sun is building in opposition to Pluto as well. They're saying that's not related here yet, but yeah, there's an aspect of, I don't know, this seems, what I get with this Sun energy in Cancer, I get this on the home front again. So like on individual countries, etc., that are just, it's dealing it with on their level, and whatever has come out regarding stuff on, this feels like global though. It feels like bigger than that. But it's hitting close to home, and there's an aspect of justice and balance that needs to be occurred of in that way. That's what I get a sense of with that. It's almost like it's hitting close to home, and justice and balance is required based off of what has been realized or been shown or whatever. Okay, they're saying just move on now. We're going to move on to Mars in semi-square to Chiron. There's an awareness here with Mars and Gemini on needed action surrounding wounds of, this feels like economic, like money, those kinds of things. There's big awareness on like, hey, we need to take, it's not necessarily taking action, but awareness on action that needs to be taken surrounding wounds. It feels like economic money, where people are, you know, like, a lot of people are still struggling to survive in a lot of ways, right? But it's like, hey, we can't keep letting our people live like this, kind of a thing. Okay, that's what I get from that. Okay, they're saying to move on again. So Jupiter is also, oh my goodness, Jupiter is also going to be in sextile to Uranus here. Sorry, was I even on? Yeah, Mars and semi-square to Chiron. What was I doing? I must have clicked it twice. Anyways, Jupiter in sextile to Uranus. This is related to what I said about the Jupiter in opposition to Pluto, trine Neptune, sextile to Uranus. This is about awakenings, shakeups, change, progress that needs to be done, move forward based off of what we're being made aware of now. Right? What is coming to light now? What we're seeing now, how we've been deceived in the past. And now we're clearly seeing that. And we're being almost in a way forced to. And it's not because of the astrology that we're being forced to. It's that we just simply need to see it. There's other, okay, what I get a sense of, there's other things working behind the scenes that we do not know about that are trying to help us. Whether people consider it to be spiritually, whether these are groups that feel that it's real, it's groups of people, support, behind the scenes support, that is really pushing us to awaken to the wrongs that have been done to us in a lot of ways, in order for us to realize, with this sextile to Uranus, the progress that needs to be made. Make progress. And what I get a sense of with this in Gemini, and we're dealing with a lot of air energy with Uranus and Gemini, is bringing an awareness. There's bringing an awareness to these things. And through that comes this aspect of almost like awakening. They're saying this Uranus and Gemini relates to this Pluto and Aquarius as well, because Uranus rules Aquarius. It is in Gemini. These energies are playing together. To bring an awareness through seeing the depth of these things, understanding, etc. Okay, they're saying that's a big point that needs to be brought through. Excuse me. Okay, burping again. They're like, yes, this is bringing this stuff up to be made aware of, to see this stuff for what it is, because we have to in order to be able to move on, to make progress, etc., and to transform. Okay, that's why it's all kind of playing off each other there. We're also going to have Mars here in this quintile to Neptune. There's a desire to take, feels very internalized. Through this internalized awareness of almost like how you've been deceived, there's this desire for action to be taken. It's like there is action being taken, but it's like the image that I get into mind is someone that is like internally trying to process something that they've seen, heard, or been aware of what's going on in the world, and then they're looking at the news or something on a TV, and they're seeing that the actions that are being taken, they're seeing that. That's how I can describe this. I don't see, like, and it may not be that literal, but that's how this energy is being shown to me. Okay, they're saying it's okay to move on. You've said what it is, or what we wanted you to say. Can move on. Okay. We're gonna have Jupiter here in opposition to Juno. Okay, this is somehow related to that in terms of it. Who's been partnered with who in almost, it seems like, negative ways that are now. This is like Juno retrograde going over this old. It feels like these old partnerships. And with Jupiter here in Leo, it's shining a huge spotlight on this. And it's bringing into balance, okay, it seems like whatever justice, balance, whatever you want to call that, bringing that into balance by showing it for what it was. In terms of what these partnerships were, who was in cahoots with who, is what that seems like, is what this energy seems like. This is part of that awakening and awareness of a lot of those old things that I mentioned earlier as well with those other aspects. And they're saying now you can move on. There was something there, that was it, now you can move on. Okay, let's move on to Wednesday the 22nd. Of course, this is when we're going to have Sun coming into Leo. I'm not going to talk about this because this is just an overarching energy of the Sun in Leo. This happens every single year. My guidance has been on astrology that, like I said, sun sign astrology, just to focus on the Sun, is sheer lunacy. Like, look at everything else that's in this chart and all the aspects here. Okay, and this isn't even specifically everything that's going on. There's also the creative use of these energies as well. There's no set definitions. There's like Leo tends to have these qualities. The planets tend to have these qualities. But when put together, there's different creative ways in which they can express together. One of the most simplest examples that they've given me is, if you're thinking of a planet and a sign, think of a pencil and a sheet of paper. Think of all the things that you can do with that. Okay, you could write in script, handwriting. You could print using the pencil on the sheet of paper. You could draw a picture. You could do whatever doodles. You could play tic-tac-toe with a friend. You could, fold the paper up with the pencil inside it to make a paper airplane where the pointy part of the pencil sticking out to throw it and stab somebody. Okay, there's multiple different ways that you could use this energy. There isn't just you only use a pencil and a sheet of paper solely for just writing an essay. It's like, well, no, I've said that you could draw on it. I've said you could fold it into paper airplane using the pencil in it as like some type of a weapon in the paper airplane, or like whatever, although the pencil will probably weigh it down too much. But you know what I'm getting at. Like, there's creative ways that are that you can use this energy. It's not just going to mean one specific thing. Just because a planet is in a sign, it's not just going to mean one specific thing all of the time. It's how that energy is being used. And that's just with the pencil and the sheet of paper. You're not taking into account the context, which would be maybe the house that it's in, the house ruler, what is aspecting it, etc. That's now bringing into context the surroundings or maybe the environment. They're pointing it out that that's not specifically an astrology definition. They're saying they're using it in the analogy that they've given me for the pencil and sheet of paper. They're saying like the pencil and sheet of paper are sure like the planet and the sign, and then everything else is the context that's surrounding it. Like, I'd say the people there with you, the environment, what kind of pencil it is, okay, or what kind of paper it is. Is it like that long, like legal sized paper that nobody really uses, or is it like regular standard 8.5 by 11 or like A4 sheet, or is it like, I don't even know, like what kind of a pencil is it? An American like a number 2 pencil, or is it an HB pencil, or is it like a number 12 pencil? Is it a pencil used for art? Is it a pencil used for taking a test? Is the sheet of paper a Scantron, and is the pencil like the number 2 that you have to use to fill in the answer? Like, it could be all like those are the kinds of things. Like, you could take the planet and the sign. Yes, they are those things, but then there's other things that act upon that to make it more of what it is, not to mention the creative use of that energy itself to make it something else as well. So they're saying there's a lot more to to astrology than just one simple thing, one definition. Okay, that's not it. And I know that this is rambling, but in order to be able to explain this properly, there's context and details that are needed to be understood with this to help to try to be more clear in understanding, I guess, to fully explain it. But yeah, anyway, that's why I don't really talk about the sun coming into a sign. It's just an overarching energy of Leo with the sun coming into Leo. That is it. Okay, I'm going to move on now. Mercury is going to be in semi-sextile to Mars here. Okay, very much there's a stronger focus now on saying something and taking action on it from political figures, etc. These are leaders, what I get is a sense of in our home countries or surrounding like their home base or something surrounding that with Mercury and Cancer here. And this is related, so this is the end of Mercury retrograde. Of course, Mercury will still be in post-shadow, but this is the end of the Mercury retrograde, and there's something here that is relating to likely what has happened previously throughout this retrograde, surrounding either a domestic focus or focusing just on your country itself and taking action, either in defense or to take action against someone or something like that. Surrounding this, but it's about saying you're going to do something and doing it. But there is some type of domesticness or affecting home in some way surrounding that energy. Uranus here, where are we? Uranus is also going to be in trine to Juno. Okay, so this feels like a shift. It actually feels like a shift in partnerships. Partnerships, like to new partnerships, different ones. It's like this retrograde has had a look at partnerships from the past. Specifically for this week, that's what I feel like it is. And now partnerships have, I don't know, it's just partnerships have shifted. There's a change. And what I get a sense of is there's communication. What I see in my mind is like political figures that like meet new people or new leaders or something, and they are shaking hands on like a stage or a press conference or something. That's the image or the visual that I get with this. And it's a change in partnerships. And the reason why I get that is because we have Uranus here in Gemini, so there's going to be an awareness, communication about this in some way. Okay. And again, I kind of burped with that again. So they're like, yes, there's going to, if this occurs, okay, there's going to be something like that that will happen surrounding this. And I say if this occurs because we all have free will. Okay. And so what I say in these videos is a potential, all right, because we're looking into the future. And from when I do this video, this is why I only do these about like a week before-ish and then put them out, because the further ahead that you do them, the less accurate they're going to be, because of free will, basically. And remember that this is the creative use of these energies, of this energetic template. Astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things. It's how these energies are used, is the creative use of them. That can still shift over time, right? So just be aware of that. But yeah, that's what I get with that. We're also going to have the sun here in biquintile to Black Moon Lilith. Let me just see if... So, I just want to see if that is around the time that the sun enters into Leo. So 1:16 p.m. comes into Leo. And when do we have this? 12:26. So just before. Okay. They're saying both signs are related to this. They just wanted me to see. Okay, so it's like, okay, come on, there's something. I don't know what this is. okay, I'm getting it now. There's a uniqueness to each individual country's unique way of doing things. And it's about no longer, it's about okay, this is weird. This is just, okay, countries have been outcasted for their unique, there's like an internalized focus on, okay, what I'm kind of being shown is it's like those that are like xenophobic or racist or calling people out for things like that, that are, they're being douchebags. And what has happened is there's maybe like even certain countries of the world, I think we've all done it to each other, in outcasting each other based off of a lack of understanding because of each country's values, those kinds of things, etc. Okay, now I'm seeing this. The sun in Cancer, it's happening at 29 degrees and then moving into Leo. It's right on the cusp there, but it's about dealing with it at home. The home is different for everyone, but that doesn't mean that you knock on somebody else's home or you outcast them because of it. There's an internalized focus here, though, based off of what's going on or world events or something, that is making people realize, kind of internalize, not to like hate on each other or something about that. And then when the sun moves into Leo, it's like bringing it out to, it's like it's more seen in whatever way with this, in terms of how we've done that and that we shouldn't do that anymore. Okay, but this may be more of a larger thing, but it feels like more internalized, like it's like someone who's been through something or has been told something or has had an argument and then is having that moment of reflection. That's what that biquintile feels like for me, is that background energy of this. It feels like that moment of reflection. The work that you put in, internalized or behind the scenes with that energy, that's what it feels like. I can't just, okay, they're saying it's fine to move on, because this is really, that's a difficult thing to try to get out of that energy. The sun is also going to be making aspects to the nodes. So we're going to have this quincunx to the north node and this, where are we here? This semi-sextile to the south node. Okay, so it feels like this is building off of the same energy of what I just talked about, in terms of this internalized focus now on how almost like we've wrongly treated each other in a lot of ways. The semi-sextile to the south node is what I get a sense of, it's understanding what we once thought was like a regular day-to-day thing in how we treated each other. And now there's this frustration here because we know we have to move forward like in this new direction. And it's almost like we don't like it. It's like we don't like change, but we know that we have to make this change. And the reason why is because we know that we've done wrong. It's almost like the dog with the tail between its legs. It's like it knows it's done something it shouldn't have. And it's like, okay, yeah, we got to move in this new direction. We got to let go of, I don't know, we can't do this anymore. It's like it's something that's been known, but it's so now like being made aware of in some way. Like I don't know. They're saying it's fine, move on now again. What you've said enough. We're going to have Venus here in quincunx to Saturn as well. feel like this is a different thing. This actually doesn't feel like the normal energy of a quincunx. This very much feels like Saturn is supporting this Venus energy. This Venus energy of these people that work for governments, etc., that are doing practical things to move things forward or do whatever, and Saturn is supporting them by setting these appropriate boundaries towards countries' own sovereignty, individuality, those kinds of things, etc. These are completely different energies, but they're actually, what I get a sense of is that they're actually being supportive of each other. This is actually using this quincunx energy in a very positive way. What I get a sense of with that, there's an understanding that it has to be done in this way now, which is, and through that understanding, it's no longer frustrating. They're aware and they know that it needs to be done. Okay, they're trying to, now they're saying that it's like, this is why the definition of aspects aren't solely always, like we consider squares to be negative or something. Squares are not always negative. Okay, they're just pushing you to take action towards something or be aware of something that, needs to be done or whatever. And same with the quincunx. It shows a frustrating situation, but but there's a unique solution. There's always an answer. And when you understand how it has to happen through some type of expansive creativity or limitless creativity that the universe has, that you can use these energies together to, that seems like the situation is frustrating, but you know what you have to do now to fix it in some weird, crazy, creative way. That's how the quincunx almost solves itself. Okay, is through that. It's like that you can use it in a positive way. You can see the positive solution through the use of it in this way. So that is Wednesday the 22nd. We're going to move on to Thursday the 23rd here. And of course, this is when Mercury will come direct. Now, it doesn't show yet in this chart because it doesn't happen until 4:58 p.m. Central. Okay, so it feels like this Mercury direct on a global stage is more, there's more of an understanding of each country on their, okay, so with this Mercury retrograde, and what I talked about a lot with Mercury in Cancer is there's a focus on the home front. Okay, there's a domestic focus. What I get a sense of with Mercury coming direct and in this post-shadow period, there's going to be more respect for countries kind of like standing are just on their own, in their own domestic way, in their own unique way, in whatever way that is. This is kind of really hard to explain. It's almost like not hating on each other just because we're different in a way. There's more of a respect for each country's and culture's uniqueness, individuality. What they consider to be home is still home, etc. Like it's very hard to explain it, but I'm kind of seeing it and feeling it, and I words are difficult right now to describe what this is. Like, there's no words that I know to fully describe this other than what I've said. Again, they're saying it's okay, just move on. So we're going to have the sun here as well in square to Chiron. This almost feels like there's more of a positive masculine energy now to this sun in Leo with this Chiron in Taurus. Excuse me. And it's surrounding now this it's almost like there's something being done or attempting to be done about this wound of materialism, material things, money, something like that. It's like it's been brought to the light, to the forefront, and we're seeing maybe some kind of action being, okay, I'm saying the action that is being pushed to be required is because of the square itself. Okay, that pushes for that. But that's being brought to the light with the sun in Leo based off of what these wounds are to these material things, etc. We're also going to have Pluto here in conjunction to Juno. I get a sense of this is a major transformation in these partnerships. It feels like what we saw earlier in the week surrounding what almost like nefarious partnerships used to be, and now things are changing towards in a more positive way, positive relationships. But there's huge transformation from those old things into something new and progressive. Okay, these are both retrograde, but it's transforming away from those old things into something new partnerships, etc., based on what we now know or what we've gone over or what we've seen. Okay, based on that retrograde energy. Now we're also going to have Neptune in sextile to Juno as well as this little conjunction. There's like a hidden positive support system that is pushing for these shifts and transformation of partnerships, etc., in this way. And it's also based off of what we've realized we've been deceived on, or what's been hidden behind the scenes. That coming out has caused that shift and transformation and that change in whatever way. And nearing the very end of the day, we're going to have Venus in the sesqui-square to Chiron. There's something regarding action steps of people from government. This feels like other agencies or something. Feels like there's nefarious people that were involved in doing certain, whether it's physical things or something related to that have caused, it feels like financial strain or a drain. And that can't be swept under the rug. Where there's an awareness of this, of how we've been deceived, and now there's certain people, or it feels like institutions which contain certain relationships of people, etc., that were doing physical, material things that existed as like certain government agencies or whatever, but that caused a financial wound because they were a drain, but they were an unknown, almost like maybe not, it was like hiding it in the books somewhere kind of a thing. And that's but this sesqui-square is showing it can't be swept under the rug any longer. We're aware now, or we may not be aware yet, but it is coming to awareness based on whatever this is coming through here in whatever way. So that's Thursday the 23rd. Let's move on to Friday the 24th. This is when we're going to have Mercury here, now direct, still in shadow though, in sextile to Venus. It's related to what I said before. This feels specifically American in a lot of ways. What I said about this Venus in this sesqui-square to Chiron, I feel like the awareness of this, whether it's a communication to the public or whether it's just an internal awareness through the government itself, surrounding what I said about that that sesqui-square to Chiron, surrounding the financial drain of almost like, I don't know if it's tax, I guess it would be taxpayers' money or things like that. Look, I'm not American, so I don't fully understand how your system works, although most governments, there's some general similarities. Obviously, government money is from taxpayers. But yeah, there's something about that. Anyway, but there's there's an awareness to this. That Mercury there is bringing an awareness to this, but it's on that home front, on that domestic level within the country itself, and how it's affected the country itself. It feels like it was a very negative thing that happened, whatever it was that was, using financial resources for its own gain. I mean, I could think of a lot of things in conspiracy theories that could be related to. Whether or not that's what they are, I have no idea. I don't know. But that's what I'm getting with this energy. That's all I can say. Okay, they're saying now I can move on to... so we're going to have Mars in this quintile to the south node. We know what we need to walk away from. Again, it's based off of that same thing, what I was just talking about. But this feels like it's happening behind the scenes. There's a walking away, a taking action to walk there because of then awareness or communication. We know what we need to take action on to walk away from. Again, South Node, of old practical things that we once thought was practical or were whatever. And again, I get this with that Venus and Virgo, that Venus energy, whatever physical things or maybe they thought it was practical, whatever they were doing, that's what it needs to be let go of in whatever way here. But there's a behind the scenes energy of that letting go, whatever it is, and taking action to do so. They're saying, okay, you can move on now. You've said enough. Neptune will also be in sextile to Pluto. They're both retrograde. This is more of the revealing of the focus on a lot of these hidden things, old things coming up to be shown, to be brought to the surface for awakening, transformation. There's supportive masculine energy in progress moving forward and being made aware of a lot of certain things that are coming up with this energy. Yeah, it feels like it. I don't know. The energy feels like a weird week. Yeah, they're saying just move on. Gonna go on to Saturday the 25th. We're gonna have Mars in. Whoa! I double clicked on that again. Mars in sesqui square to, well, Juno, and I mean technically Pluto, but it's not showing up here. But we're just gonna say. Mars and sesqui square to Juno, and I mean this conjunction. I feel like there's something about that. It's what I just talked about as well, about taking action towards something. Something can't be swept under the rug any longer. It's out there now, whatever this is, and it's focusing on this transformation. And what I get with this aspect of partnership is that. It's almost like taking action. What are we going to do about these nefarious partnerships, that these people that colluded to do negative things or something like that? I just, that's what it feels like. I don't know what else how I could explain this. That's just what it is. I mean, sometimes when this stuff comes through, it's even hard for me to believe. But I mean, we'll see what happens, right? So okay, they're saying I can just end it there for now. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Long one this week. But if you haven't made it this far in the video, please leave a purple heart in the comments that I know you're a real one. Thank you all for watching. If you are looking for a personal reading, obviously the readings that I do in this video are meant to be mundane, as I explained at the beginning. If you want the energy personalized for you in any way, I do personal readings. Those links are in the description below. Or you can head on over to my website, mysticalmark.ca. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in next week's video. Take care, everyone. Bye.